Hi guys, today I'm going to be giving you a tour of my garden. I haven't done that yet this year. It's late June, so I figured it was time. So the way I'm going to do this is I've got my wide angle lens on my camera and I'm just going to do a walkthrough and tell you what everything is. And then at the end I may add some detailed shots and things like that. So the first thing we're looking at here is my pole beans. They're doing really well. The varieties I have planted are Cherokee Trail of Tears and rattlesnake beans. Down there in the corner, a couple weeks ago, I just planted a little tomato plant. The variety is Lucid Gem. I'm just trying to trellis it up the side of that bean trellis. Here's the cucumbers. I only put in 2 plants because I'm the only person in the house that eats cucumbers. One is National Pickling Cucumber, and I can't remember what the other one is, but I'll put it up on the screen. They did get planted out a little bit late, but the one over here is starting to get flowers. Here are the eggplants. The first 2 right here are long purple eggplant, and I got those seeds from Midwest Gardener. And they look pretty beat up, and it's no fault of the seeds at all. It's the fault of the flea beetles and me not knowing how to get rid of them. Flea beetles have slowed down, so I think they're just going to start growing now and doing better. The 2 eggplants on the other end are Prosperosa eggplants. This is Flamingo Swiss Chard. The next plant down is lemon basil, and the next plant down is Bright Lights Cosmos, and that is some seedlings and some trash from yesterday. I planted a few things out. Those are Bright Lights Cosmos again. This is a zinnia. I just planted those out yesterday. Those are okra. I planted out 2 varieties. One was a red variety, I think red burgundy, and the other one is Stelly okra. This is American Flag Leeks. Here we have a tomato plant, and the variety is pineapple, and yes, that is a regular tomato cage. I know they don't work very good, but I had a couple shorter sized T-posts, and I just tied the tomato cages up to the T-post. And I have another tomato plant right next to that one, and it's Cherokee Purple. Right here in the foreground is some Summer Dreams, or I think they're Summer Dreams. Summer Dreams Cosmos are really pretty. First time I've grown that variety. And I have some more basil, Genovese basil and lemon basil. In the raised fabric pot is some Royal Burgundy bush beans, and there's some more Cosmos. I made this trellis, and yesterday I planted Chinese red noodle beans around it, and they're going to climb up it. It's going to look nice. I've made teepee style trellises before. This one's small, but I've made a really big one a couple years ago that my son could play in. If I have a picture of it, I'll post it. Here we have some more leeks and some dill. And the watermelons are doing awesome. I've even got some baby watermelons in here, but the biggest one is right, oh shoot, it's right around here somewhere, or maybe here. I'll just give you a closer up view of it at the end of the video. These plants are red coxcomb flowers, and they kind of just sat here and did nothing for weeks and weeks and weeks, but they are finally growing now, and I'm excited about growing these. And these are the really tall coxcomb type flowers, not the short ones. This is a golden zucchini, and as you guys can see, it's pretty small. Some of my stuff got planted late this year, and the zucchini is one of them. I only grow 1 zucchini plant because after a few weeks I get really tired of it. So this is a pumpkin that I planted in early June, and honestly it's not growing that much. It looks pretty terrible because I was going around the garden putting fertilizer on plants, and I just kind of tossed it on top of that pumpkin without paying attention, and the fertilizer just sat on the leaves and kind of messed them up. But there's new growth since I fertilized it, and hopefully it'll get going. Now we're looking at some tomatoes. The 2 tomatoes down here on the end are a lot smaller than the ones up that way because they do see some afternoon shade. These varieties are Cherokee Purple and Eva Purple Ball. This potato leaf plant right here is a Daniels. It's a pink beefsteak. I've never grown it before. Next one is supposed to be a Kentucky beefsteak, which is a big, huge, beautiful orange. beefsteak tomato, but I don't think that's what's planted there. The tomatoes are kind of a weird shape, so it's definitely something else. The next one down is black pineapple. Then the next one down is Joe's Pink Ox Hearts. I'm not really big on pruning tomato plants. I might remove a sucker here or there, but every year I battle late blight. Not late blight, no, thank goodness I don't battle late blight. That stuff kills your plants within days. I battle early blight every year, and early blight starts at the bottom, works its way up, and slowly tries to defoliate your plant. I feel like I lose enough foliage to fungal diseases, so I definitely don't want to help it along. I usually do prune around the bottom of the plant. Hopefully you guys can see that. Just I don't want leaves touching the ground. I've heard people say that you'll get bigger tomatoes or more tomatoes if you prune. I just don't believe that, because tomato plants need their foliage so that they can photosynthesize and make energy for the roots to grow, the leaves to grow, the fruit to grow, everything. And if I want big tomatoes, I plant big varieties. If I want productive tomatoes, I'll just plant productive varieties. Here we have some sunflowers, and I can't remember what they're called, but I'll put it up on the screen. They are a dwarf sunflower that's supposed to only get about 3 foot tall. These are some zinnias, and the variety is called Mazurkia. Planted this variety another year, and both times I've planted it now, it's been the first to bloom out of all my zinnias. So if you want some early blooming zinnias, I would say this is probably a good variety to try. Alright, be warned, you are going to see weeds in this garden tour, because I'm really bad about pulling weeds. And this is my log raised bed, and it doesn't get full sun, so anything that I plant in here usually doesn't do great. It'll do okay. I've planted lettuce and stuff in here before. This is a really good spot for lettuce, but it's also a good spot for slugs. I actually prefer to grow lettuce in containers on my deck. But anyhow, we've got some onions in here, and some carrots, and some leeks, and a bunch of weeds. So yeah, we'll see what we get out of this bed. The peppers that I planted in containers are doing really good. I think these are golden Marconis, and this is Hungarian yellow wax, and it looks like I have one ready to pick back there. Here's some more peppers. And in this pot is Jimmy Nardello peppers, and the plants are really small, but they are loaded down with peppers. The bush sugar baby plant that I put in a container is doing really well, and look, I even have a watermelon. The container blueberry plants are doing good, and they have both even put off a few ripe blueberries. Let me see if I can find some. Right here's some blueberries, and there's a couple that has fallen off down here that I need to pick up. This is my glass gem corn, and I don't think I've ever showed you guys my corn before. There's a lot of weeds in there, so it's a little embarrassing. I need to get in there and hoe out the weeds. Some sunflowers back there too, but you probably can't see them very well. They're about the same height as the corn. The alpine strawberries look good, but the production has slowed down since it's gotten really hot outside, and things should pick back up for them again in the fall. Out here in this garden bed, the cantaloupes and watermelon are a little behind, but they're growing. Here's some more tomatoes. I don't remember what all these varieties are, but I have it wrote down, so I will put it on the screen. This one right here is Aunt Lou's Underground Railroad. I showed you pretty much everything I have growing except for my flower beds around my house, which just has some perennials and hostas and things like that in them. And lots of weeds too, so you're not going to see those. Thanks for hanging in there, because this video is probably going to be pretty long. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.